Hey guys, today I am very excited to be able to take a look at a mask that I have been trying to find for a very long time, and I'm just very happy to be able to share with you the 2005 Be Something Studios Kong. Now this mask is just a great mask that I was aware of, and I've been searching for a copy to be able to purchase for quite some time, and it's actually very difficult to find any information online about this mask. There are very few photos of it online, and only in researching this video did I find a few photos in a thread on the Halloween Mask Association forums, but other than that, it's very, very difficult to find any real information on this mask. But in the researching this video, I was able to find kind of a very special bit of information on this. Also, I have sort of an interesting story about acquiring this mask as well. And we'll take a closer look at this mask shortly, but I wanted to share the story of how I came to own this mask. And so I was in attendance at Mask Fest 2018, and Tony Zagoni from Zagoni Studios was there at the Zagoni Studios booth. And when I first did my initial walk through Mask Fest, I spotted this mask on his table. And this mask, I had seen only one other copy of this mask, and that was a couple of years ago at Mask Fest. Bill Yeastrom was in attendance, and they had a copy of this mask on their table. And at that time, I inquired about it, but it was not for sale. And so I thought probably this would be the case with this one as well, that it was there for display, but was not for sale. And so I asked Tony Zagoni about it. I asked if it was for sale, and he said, yes, it is. So I sort of was worried about the price that he was going to quote me on the mask, but he was kind enough to really sell it for a very reasonable price, and I was more than happy to be able to put this mask into my collection. But the interesting story kind of continues. So I was walking around with this mask right after I purchased it, and I spoke to someone who most of you, or some of you, may know as the Crimson Ghost, is the name that he goes by, a fairly well-known mask collector. And I was talking to him about it, and he said that there's a chance that Tony Zagoni has a second one with him. So when I spoke to Tony Zagoni about the mask, he gave me a little bit of information on this. He had said that they did not have any copies at Zagoni Studios, but then they were sort of cleaning out some areas and actually found 2 copies of this mask. When he told me this, I had assumed that he only had the single copy with him. And he had said that a little bit of background on this, that it was sculpted by Bill Yeastrom, and it was very tightly controlled as far as the quality and what the image of the King Kong had to look like, because it was licensed from Universal Studios. And so they had only made 59 copies of this mask. And that is what Tony Zagoni told me. So it is quite scarce. And he said that he actually was surprised that the studio sort of looked at this mask and didn't have too many changes, and I can see why. It's a gorgeous mask, a gorgeous sculpt. The hair work is great on it, and the construction is just great, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But so I was walking around with this mask, and Tom Savini stopped me, and I think you may know of Tom Savini. Most people do. a very famous effects makeup artist. He's done a lot of great movies, and so he stopped me and asked about it and said, where did you get that? And I told him the story that I just told you about acquiring it from Tony Zagoni, and he said, well, does he have any more? And I said, I don't think so, but I did hear a rumor that he may have another one. So Tom Savini opened his wallet and handed me a large sum of money, and I was walking around Mask Fest with a large sum of Tom Savini's money, and I walked back and I asked Tony Zagoni if he has another one, thinking, of course not, and wouldn't you know it, he pulled out that second one from under the table, still in its plastic bag, still with the original tag, just like this one. And I brought it back and gave it to Tom Savini. And so as you all have noticed, I'm sure, I don't come in front of the camera when I'm filming these videos. You've seen my arm, and that's about it. But this is one time that it adds to the story, and so I'll show you the photo here of Tom Savini and I standing with his copy of this mask, and you can see on the table there is a copy of his Fluffy character from Creepshow as well. Now, if you don't know Tom Savini, he's the good-looking guy on the right in the photo, your right, and I am the silly-looking guy with the baseball hat. But I thought it just added sort of to the story to show you this photo, and I found it very interesting that Tom Savini would trust someone that I've only spoken to at Mask Fest a couple of times with a large sum of money to walk around and buy a mask and bring it back to him. So he's a very, very trusting person. And so as far as this mask is concerned, as you can see, it is just a really great looking mask. It's very big, and the construction is just top notch on this mask. Now I'm calling this mask Kong, and it actually is a mask with a subtitle, "The Eighth Wonder of the World," as you can see on the tag. Now that phrase is actually a line spoken in the original 1933 movie, and in the movie that this mask was made for. And so this mask was made for the Peter Jackson 2005 remake of King Kong. That movie was entitled King Kong, and you can see the movie poster here. It was not titled Kong, as this mask is. And so this line was spoken by Carl Denham in the original movie, and in the remake, the character played by Jack Black in the remake, and so that is what I guess this name is based on, is that phrase from the movie. Now this mask was only advertised under that name, so it was never advertised or shown as King Kong. It was Kong, and with the subtitle Eighth Wonder of the World, and that name was used only in one other area connected to the Peter Jackson movie that I can find, and that is that it was also several video games came out based on the movie as well, and it was the title of the Game Boy Advance video game. And here's a shot of the cover of that game. That's the only other place that I can find that the name Kong, Eighth Wonder of the World, was used in connection with the movie, just this mask and that video game. And so in researching this mask, I sometimes, if I can't find any current information on the web, I go to archive.org's Wayback Machine, where you can see previous versions of websites. And so, as many of you may know, Be Something Studios was, for a time, exclusively distributed by Franco-American Novelty. And so, as Tony Zagoni explained to me, Franco-American also distributed this mask as well. And so I went to the Wayback Machine and I searched the old versions of their website. Now you can see also on this tag, it does say Franco-American Novelties, distributed by Franco-American Novelties Company, LLC. And so in going back to the October 28th capture of the Franco-American website, I was able to find this PDF flyer, and it's actually archived, the actual PDF flyer. And here you can see that flyer. And I'm just very happy to be able to see this flyer on this mask. And you can see it's called Kong, Eighth Wonder of the World there on this original flyer for this mask. And it doesn't say King Kong on the mask. It does say in the copyright at the bottom that Universal Studios' King Kong movie is copyrighted, as well as Kong, Eighth Wonder of the World. And so this is just a fantastic item to be able to find and see the original flyer for this mask. And this mask was actually available ahead of the movie, so the marketing started in June of 2005 for the movie. This mask obviously was available in time for Halloween of 2005, but the movie hadn't come out yet, and I don't know if that contributed, in addition to the expensive nature of this mask, to it only having been run in 59 copies. It may have, but it is a great likeness of the movie character. So here are a few stills from the movie where you can see the face of the King Kong in the Peter Jackson movie, and it is virtually identical to this mask. They did a really great job on it, and it really, really captures the look of that that character. And as you can see, even the scars and the paint on this is great. The construction on this is really fantastic too, and I spoke to Tony Zagoni a little bit about that, and this really has some interesting aspects inside the mask. I won't take it off the stand, but it has a lot of construction inside. There are foam ribs up the back and around the diameter of the mask on the back side, so that it holds its shape, and it's also fit inside to really fits snugly on the wearer's head. It looks like it wouldn't because it's huge, but it does. It actually, the way that foam is constructed inside with the ribs and everything, it fits perfectly on the wearer's head. And another sort of innovation, and Tony Zagoni sort of called this the engineering that goes into these masks, and I can see it. It's artistry, but it's also engineering, and their company, as he said, prides themselves on the engineering. This is something that I haven't seen in a mask before. On the inside here, there's a strap, 3 straps glued in, latex straps. So they're glued in here, and then the strap comes down and it's glued on the top of this nose. So it's taking the weight of this heavy snout. There's one over here and over here as well. And that sort of holds that weight up. Now you may have seen on some vintage masks, they can split right here at the bridge of the nose because of the weight of the bottom of the face sometimes, since it's only a very narrow area that sort of holds this weight. And that strap on the inside, I think, is a really cool thing. I've never seen it on another mask. There may be some with it, but on this one, being so large, I thought that was a great way to reinforce this area of the mask. And you can see, I mean, the hair work, this is sheet fur here. The mask stops, the latex about here, and this is sheet fur, but it's really well done, and there's glued on fur that blends perfectly right into that sheet fur, so you really can't tell or see that that's any kind of sheet fur. It looks like it's glued on, and that hair goes right through and blends right with that fur in the back, the hood in the back. And this again, this is a very well-made, well-painted, fantastic mask. Zagoni, or Be Something rather, is was fairly well known for its gorillas, and here's a couple shots of their 2006 catalog, and as well as a vintage gorilla. And I always thought that they had some of the best gorilla masks available commercially, and this one just far exceeds anything that I have seen. It's my favorite ape character mask, personally, of all time. And so I hope you enjoyed seeing this mask and seeing this video. One more thing I want to point out too is that under the bottom here, and I think you might be able to see it, there's a latex tag. It's part of the mask. It's trimmed right into the latex of the mask that says Kong, 8th Wonder of the World. And in searching for a while, I finally found right above it, and you probably can't see it in this video, but right above it is Bye Bye, which Bill Yeastrom put into many of his sculpts. It's by Bill Yeastrom, his initials, BY. So I was happy to find that, and as Tony Zagoni told me, it was sculpted by Bill Yeastrom, and so when I found that, that was just some additional confirmation in the mold itself. And it does say sculpted by Bill Yeastrom on the tag here as well. So again, that is the 2005 Be Something Studios Kong, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.